Dear students, welcome to Swayam Shikshaa. Now today's theme is external sector. And this is one of the important themes for UPSC Prelims. And this is seen as a quite difficult area also. And this video will be a little longer video than the previous themes. The only reason being there are some concepts, but I definitely give you a guarantee that if you can spend time, 30 minutes of your time on watching this video till the end, most of your concepts will be clarified, and any question in UPSC related to external sector, you will be able to handle it. Okay. And one more interesting thing is, every year, for example, last year there was a question on nominal effective exchange rate, etc. Every year, there will be one or the other question related to this particular area. So first, let me go ahead with explaining you some concepts, and then we will come back to the discussion on questions. Okay. So first thing is, as we have already discussed BOP, this is not related to balance of payment. So we will be discussing something other than BOP. BOP, there's a separate video. Please do watch that video for getting complete clarity on BOP and BOP related questions. Now, when we are using the word external sector, what we have to observe, what we have to understand is, in this external sector or in external trade, when India is doing trade with other countries, we trade with liquid currencies like the dollars, euros, pounds, Japanese yen, etc. We don't trade with rupees because these currencies are called as liquid currencies. Liquid, hard currencies or liquid currencies, which are accepted by everybody. Now the question comes up. Okay, the question comes up like, since we do not have these dollars, and since our currency is not a liquid currency, we have to hold some reserve. And this reserve is under the control of RBI. And this RBI is going to hold Forex reserve. And this Forex reserve has 4 main components. This is very important. One, foreign currency assets. The major chunk is foreign currency assets. Foreign currency assets. Then followed by gold. Then followed by RTP, reserve tranche position, and followed by SDRs. Foreign currency assets is basically dollar, euro, pound, and yen. This is the major chunk. This is the order, in fact. Now, when I use the word RTP, reserve tranche position, so when we take subscription into IMF, there is some amount which we pay called as a subscription amount. And the amount which we pay is basically dependent on the quota. So quota is just given under IMF. Though quota is maintained in the form of SDRs, again quota, how much quota has to be given to a particular country is again decided by certain factors. For example, what are the factors? One is factors like GDP. 50% weightage is given to GDP. Okay, so then we have factors like Forex reserve. We also have other factors other than the Forex reserve. We have RTP. When we talk about GDP, GDP is the main factor, Forex reserve. Then we have openness to economy, how open the economy is. Okay, like this, several factors will decide the quota. And quota will tell how much subscription. And in the subscription amount, certain portion we can use whenever we require. Take the loan and use it. And that portion is nothing but the RTP. That is understanding here. Okay. Now, when we use the word currency convertibility is nothing but converting one currency into another. Okay. So, whether it is rupees into dollars or dollars into rupees. Now, here I am taking 2 cases. $1 is 50 and $1 is 100. We find that in the second case, rupees value is less. There is depreciation. Moving from case 1 to case 2. There is depreciation of rupee. Depreciation of rupee value and appreciation of dollar. This is the understanding here. Now, why is it we call it as depreciation and not devaluation is what is the understanding. So for that, we have to understand that there was a system called as the Bretton Woods system. And under this Bretton Woods system, there is this exchange rate that came into existence, which is called as the fixed exchange rate. Fixed exchange rate system. Very important, fixed exchange rate. Now, what is this fixed exchange rate? When I use the word fixed exchange rate, the exchange rate is not decided by the market, but rather it is decided by the government. So this is decided by the government. Now, how is government going to decide? So government has to decide the exchange rate based on certain criteria. So that criteria can be either gold, or that criteria can be something like the foreign currency. This is how the exchange rates were decided earlier. So when I say gold, so as simple as that, let's say, suppose 1000 grams of gold is seen as $1. 1000 grams of gold is equal to $1. Okay. And similarly, let's say 1000 grams of gold is equal to 100 rupees. Then in this gold standard, what will happen is $1 will be equal to 100 rupees. As simple as that. So because it is basically, the grams are same here. Okay. So this is one kind of understanding of the gold standard. Or it can be through foreign currency. What is this foreign currency? Suppose $1 is equal to 50 rupees. Just an example. Now, $1 is equal to 10 yuan. Dollar is same, so it can be something like 10 yuan is equal to 50 rupees. Okay, so 1 yuan is equal to 5 rupees. These are fixed exchange rate. Fixed means they are not based on market fundamentals. So government itself is going to decide. So under such circumstances, if the value of a currency is reduced, we call it as devaluation. Okay. So when it is market determined, so what is this market determined? Now, when this gold standard system or the fixed exchange rate system was taken off in 1970s, now the most important area is most of the countries decided to come up with flexible exchange rate systems. So in the flexible exchange rate system, that means the currency values are decided by the forces of demand and supply. Forces of demand and supply. That is basically market phenomenon. Market phenomenon. India also followed flexible exchange rates, but at the same time, we called it as floating. Floating. Or we use the word called dirty float. Dirty float. This is something which we should understand, dirty float. Okay. Now, what I mean by dirty float or what is this market determined exchange rate, we'll try to understand this through a graph. Okay. Let's say I am taking quantity demanded of dollars and here I am taking price of dollars in rupees. Okay. So my basic demand graph, this is the basic demand graph. Okay. And this is the supply graph. So this is the equilibrium point. Okay. So this equilibrium point, we are putting it at, let's say, 70 rupees. $1 is 70. Okay. Now, suppose there is more demand for dollars in the market, then what we observe is there will be a rightward shift with respect to the demand graph. Now this is the new demand graph, rightward shift. So when there is rightward shift with respect to demand graph, we will find that this is the new intersection point. So now 70 has become 80. So because of too much of demand for dollar, my rupee value has depreciated from 70 to 80. Okay. Now suppose there is a shortage of supply. Shortage of supply. If there is a shortage of supply, then there will be, my supply graph is going to shift leftward. Okay, that means this will be my new intersection point. So supply is less, then my rupee value is going to depreciate further. Now this is how market determines. But when I use the word dirty float means, let's say RBI is going to give a range 70 to 75. As long as it is between 70 to 75, we are leaving things to the market. But suppose if it depreciates above 75 or if it appreciates over 70, then RBI will interfere. RBI may inject dollars or remove dollars from the market. So this is what we call it as dirty float. So as long as the particular range is maintained, we are keeping the exchange rate within that particular limit. But once the range is crossed, RBI will interfere and come up with sterilization activities. Okay, so this is some understanding which we should have when I use the word flexible exchange rate. And in that flexible also, when I use the word called as dirty float. Now, I hope it is clear. Now, when we talk about exchange rates, again, we should understand something called as the nominal exchange rate, which is the regular rate decided based on market. And then we have the purchasing power parity exchange rate, PPP exchange rate. And also, we'll try to understand real exchange rate. Okay. Trade competitiveness will be decided based on real exchange rates. Trade competitiveness will be decided based on real exchange rate, not the nominal, not the PPP. Now let's try to understand this through an example. Suppose I'm taking US, or let's take India here. Okay, so let's take India and US. Okay, and let's say one ice cream in US is $1 and the same ice cream in India is 35 rupees. Now this is nothing but the PPP exchange rate. I'm taking a basket of goods. Now this basket of goods, I'm comparing it in US, which is equal to $1, and the same basket, I am taking it and comparing it in India, it is 35 rupees. So that means $1 is equal to 35 is nothing but the purchasing power parity exchange rate, or we call it as the PPP exchange rate. Now let's say the nominal exchange rate, the official exchange rate is $1 is equal to 70. Now, under such circumstances, when $1 is 70, US will buy more ice creams from India, because for $1, US will be able to get 2 ice creams from India. This is one understanding. Now my rupee value depreciates. That means my nominal exchange rate becomes 140. The same example. If it is going to become 140, then US will be buying more ice creams, or India can export more ice creams to US, because for $1, 4 ice creams are coming in. Now suppose when $1 becomes 35, that is, it is equivalent to the PPP exchange rate, then there will not be any trade. There is no trade. Now, if it becomes less than 35, nominal exchange rate, then in fact, US will not buy, US will export ice creams to India. Now, this is one example. If you can understand this example, things would be very simple. That means the real exchange rate, RER, real exchange rate, the trade competitiveness is dependent on, okay, my nominal exchange rate. It is dependent on nominal exchange rate. Okay. And it is also dependent on the price of the product in US. So in US, if it is $2, okay, then they will buy more ice creams from India. So it is US price. It is directly proportional. And it is inversely proportional to the price in India. Suppose the ice cream becomes 70 rupees, then they will not buy our products. So it is inversely proportional to ice cream price in India. Okay. So this is what we should understand. Then this can be written as nominal exchange rate divided by, okay, India price divided by US price. So $1 is equal to 35 rupees by $1. Okay, so this is nothing but the nominal exchange rate divided by the PPP exchange rate. So real exchange rate is nothing but nominal divided by PPP. But remember one thing here, we have taken rupees divided by dollar. Here, India rupees divided by dollar. So here when we are calculating REER, we have taken rupees by dollar. When we are calculating nominal exchange rate also, here it is by rupees by dollar. Okay, so rupees by dollar is something which you observe here. So 35 rupees is equal to $1. So when I am saying domestic price, India price by US, so it is 35 rupees divided by $1. $1, that is rupees by dollar is what we have taken here. If I do that, if rupees by dollar is the case, then if rupees by dollar, I am calculating this exchange rate as rupees by dollar, only under that circumstance, okay, if my real exchange rate, in this case, real exchange rate is equal to 1. 1 is what? Nominal exchange rate and PPP exchange rate are becoming same. That means this is becoming 35, PPP exchange is also 35. Then there will not be any trade. So this is a case where there is no trade. No trade. But if real exchange rate is greater than 1, now this is greater than 1 means, now nominal exchange rate is greater than the PPP exchange rate. This is 35, this is 70. Okay, so this is 70. So this is the nominal exchange rate. If this is becoming 140, this is becoming 140, but PPP exchange rate is 35. So 140 divided by 35. Okay, so it is equal to 4. So real exchange rate is greater than 1. This is increasing. Nominal exchange rate increasing means more exports from India. So this will indicate positive trade for India. Positive trade for India means India will export more. But if real exchange rate is less than 1 means PPP is increasing. This 70 becomes 70 or 70 becomes 140, then there will not be much exports from India. US will export to India. So our trade competitiveness will decrease if REER is less than 1. So negative impact on India's trade. This is India with respect to India. Now all this is when I'm taking rupees to dollar. Rupees to dollar. But in RBI's website, if you observe, RBI calculates nominal effective exchange rates as well as real effective exchange rates, not as rupees by dollar, but dollar by rupees. That means our theory becomes reverse. When I say dollar by rupee, it becomes 1 by 70, 1 by 35. So now, when I say dollar by rupee, it should become 1 by 35, reverse. It becomes. So these theories become reverse now. So if it is less than 1, then India can export more. If it is more than 1, India cannot export more. So this aspect becomes reverse now. If I am calculating it as dollar by rupee. Now here, I have written, here the concept is with respect to one currency, and therefore I use real exchange rate, nominal exchange rate. Real effective exchange rate and nominal effective exchange rate means I am calculating it by taking a basket of currencies. It can be India has maximum trade, 50% of trade with US, another with euros, 20%, and then yuan. Like this, we are doing trade, let's say 6 trading partners are there, and India's 50% of the trade it is doing in dollars. Okay, that means 50% weightage will be given to dollar, 30% weightage will be given to euros, 10% weightage will be given to yuan. So when I'm doing a comparison between India's currency with a basket of currencies, then we use the word real effective exchange rate and nominal effective exchange rate. Now here we are, RBI's website says we are calculating it as dollar by rupee rather than rupee by dollar, as in the previous example we have seen. So it should be dollar by rupee. That is how they are calculating. So this is something which we should understand. Okay. So instead of rupee by dollar, it is dollar by rupee. So, but what is the importance of difference between effective exchange rate? Effective, when I say effective, you are calculating it with a basket of currencies, a group or a basket of currencies. So that is what we should understand. That is the understanding. It is calculated using a basket of currencies. So once this concept is clear, now we can handle any question related to this particular area. So a few more concepts we will discuss as and when we are discussing the questions here. Okay, so let's try to understand this. So, see, consider the following statements. Now, always remember, we have to go to the exam hall with presence of mind. Answer will be there in the question paper only. What becomes important is, one is understanding the concept. Second is the way you eliminate the options. Okay, now see this. Which of the statements given above are correct? Okay, so which of the following, consider the following statements which will decide the currency potential. Which one will decide the currency potential? So here if we see currency potential, that means a particular currency is decided by which of the following factors. So here World Bank will not decide. Okay, and at the same time World Bank will never decide. Second is demand for goods and services provided by the country. More is the demand for the goods, more exports, more our currency will be in demand. Okay, so definitely yes, 2 is a viable option. Stability of the government of the concerned current country. Okay, and then we also have economic potential. Potential is only an imaginary concept. There is a potential. It is not something which you have not achieved. Potential will not decide your growth. Potential is only something which you can achieve. So this is a potential which is given, so therefore this will not be there. And therefore the answer should be 2 and 3. This is how intelligently we will have to mark such answers. Okay. Now, let's go to the next question here. Which of the following groups of items is included in the India's foreign exchange reserves? Okay, so when I say foreign exchange reserves, okay, so foreign currency assets, SDRs and loans. Now this loan is something never an asset. So loan is something like a liability. So we have seen what are the part. So loans should not be there. Okay, so here wherever loan is there, I can remove it. And here we find foreign currency asset, gold and SDRs. And you have RTP also. So but loan cannot be part of the reserve. So therefore I'm going to eliminate loan and you get to the right answer very easily for this question. Nice question and easy question to answer once the basic is clear. Okay, so next, the problem of international liquidity to non-availability. So liquidity, international liquidity is mainly related to non-availability of currencies like dollars and other hard currencies. Okay, so very interesting. So hard currencies are liquid currencies which are accepted by everybody, dollars, euros, pounds, Japanese yen, to some extent Chinese yuan as well. Okay, so remember SDR is not a currency. Neither it's a currency nor it's a claim on IMF. Okay. Now, convertibility of rupee. The very simple question. What is this convertibility? Allowing the value of rupee be fixed by market, freely permitting the conversion of rupee to other currencies and vice versa. So, convertibility is nothing but currency being converted. So, today also Indian rupee is freely convertible with respect to aspects related to current account in our BOP. And still there are restrictions on aspects related to capital account. So this understanding should be clear. And then let's go to the next question. Which of the following have occurred in India after its liberalization of economic policy? Now this question is very easy using the extreme statements. Now learning from this area is how do we handle the extreme statements? Now see here, what has happened after LPG? Share of agriculture in GDP increased enormously. Okay, share of agriculture actually has reduced. Now that means one should be wrong. There should not be one in my answer now. Okay, share of India's exports in world trade increased. FDI inflows increased. FDI inflows, yes, FDI inflows increased because we liberalized norms. Okay, share of India's exports, yes. India's foreign exchange reserves increased enormously. Here it is okay. Yes, our forex, because BOP crisis itself was because we did not have forex, so this is okay. Okay, so therefore, the option should be 2, 3 and 4. Okay, India's export increased, FDI inflows increased and also forex, definitely forex increased enormously. Why? Because the BOP crisis itself was because we did not have forex reserve. Very interesting question and a simple question. Now, in the context of India, which of the following factors are contributors to reducing the risk of currency crisis? Okay, so to reduce currency crisis, foreign currency earnings of India's IT sector, it's bringing in dollars, so that is good. Remittances from Indians abroad, that is also good. Okay, but increasing government expenditure, this is nowhere related. So this is nowhere related. Okay, so therefore, answer should be 1 and 3. Very easy question, but proper reading with presence of mind. Okay. This question we need not do it because the numbers have changed now. So now see here, gold tranche refers to a loan system of the World Bank, one of the operations of central bank, credit system granted by WTO, credit system granted by IMF. So it is basically that which we can use. Okay, so now see this. Consider the following statements with respect to effect of devaluation of currency. Okay, improve the competitiveness of the domestic exports in the foreign market. Yes, this seems to be right. Increase the foreign value of domestic currency. Improves the trade balance. So improving the trade balance, you cannot comment. Okay, there is J curve also. Whenever a currency is depreciated or there is devaluation, the impact is first on increasing the trade deficit and then subsequently improving the trade. So this is what is J curve. So we cannot comment on the trade balance, but increases the foreign value of domestic currency. Now the question is improving the competitiveness of the domestic exports. This is true. So 1 is definitely there. So the option should be either A or B. Second is increases the foreign value of domestic currency. Okay, so foreign value of domestic currency is going to decrease because our currency is reducing here. Okay, so therefore, this should be the better option here. So foreign value of the domestic currency may not increase. Okay, so this is because our currency has devalued here. With reference to Indian economy, consider, this is a difficult question. Now here, this is a typical question and the last question for today. Now what we will try to understand here is, now in this question, bring our conceptual understanding. What we should understand is, it is basically, we are taking it as dollar to rupee. If I take dollar to rupee, the answer will be different. If I am taking it as rupee to dollar, answer will be different. And since RBI website takes it as dollar divided by rupee, and based on which you have to go to the answer. Okay, so if I take rupee to dollar, if this is the case, rupee to dollar, that means if real exchange rate is greater than 1, it is better for trade. So if I take dollar to rupee, it changes. Okay, so this is what we have to understand. Okay, so for example, what we did, real exchange rate is equal to nominal exchange rate divided by PPP exchange rate. This is what we have done. Now here we are taking it as, let's say, rupee to dollar. Everything we are calculating it as rupee to dollar, 70 rupees by, okay. So nominal also we are taking rupee to dollar. So when you are taking rupee to dollar, $1 is 70 rupees. Okay, but dollar to rupee, it becomes 1 by 70. Okay, so it becomes reverse. So this understanding we have to keep in mind for solving this question. Now see this, an increase in nominal effective exchange rate indicates appreciation of rupee. Okay, so here increase in nominal effective exchange rate. So if I'm taking, again I have to take dollar to rupee. So dollar divided by rupee. Okay, if this value is increasing, it is talking about appreciation of rupee. Okay, so suppose $1 is 80. If I'm taking rupee to dollar, 100. Okay, so it is talking about depreciation. But if I'm taking it reverse, it is 1 by 80, 1 by 90. Then increase in nominal effective exchange rate, near, indicates appreciation, yes. But if I'm taking it rupee to dollar, it becomes depreciation. Okay, so since I'm solving this question by taking dollar to rupee, this is okay. An increase in real effective exchange rate indicates an improvement in trade competitiveness. Now this statement, increase in rear greater than 1, it is improves trade competitiveness provided I'm taking rupee to dollar. But since I'm taking dollar to rupee, then this statement should be wrong. But UPSC is taking rupee to dollar, then this statement will be right. Okay. Then an increasing trend in the domestic inflation relative to inflation in other countries is likely to cause an increasing divergence between near and rear. Yes, near and near basic differences, divergence will be more because of inflation. Inflation is an aspect. So if there is increasing trend in domestic inflation, inflation is an aspect which is taken into consideration. That inflationary effect is removed in the real effective exchange rate. So more inflation, more divergence. So this statement is okay. 3 is 100% okay, no tension. But selecting 1 and 2 depends on what we are taking. So since I'm taking dollar to rupee, I'm taking the second statement as wrong, and therefore the answer should be 1 and 3. But if I'm taking rupee to dollar, okay, rupee to dollar, then answer will be 2 and 3. Okay, since RBI website is talking about dollar to rupee, so rear less than 1 is good for the trade. When I take dollar to rupee, it becomes reverse. Okay, so based on that logic, answer is 1 and 3. I hope I've added value to your preparation, and please do comment in the comment box if you like my videos and if it is really helping you, and also share our videos to all the serious aspirants. And we'll also be starting current affairs videos, which will be exam focused, and also we are going to start with modern history videos in the subsequent classes. And stay tuned, and all the best for UPSC prelims. And at the last few days, basically, it's very important that you should decide on where you have to focus, which subjects, which topics. So this becomes very critical, which I'll be discussing in the subsequent video. Okay, stay tuned. Thank you. All the best.